Jen here with week 4 of Safe Harbor at Home. And you're probably wondering, why is Jen in the kitchen for an art activity? What? Well, I'm going to tell you. So this week's theme is all about telling your story. So I'm going to get more into what telling your story is all about as I'm doing the activity and showing you what you guys are going to do. But the most important thing is remember that there is tons of information and a description, instructions, and all the materials that you're going to need all in the description on the YouTube page. Okay, so just make sure you check all of that out. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. I like to call these power paintings, and the easiest thing to do is to use shaving cream. But what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to show you how to make puffy paint, which also works for this particular activity. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is get a permanent marker, and I want you to think about a word that is really powerful to you. Okay, so what I like to call your power word. So I have one in mind that I'm going to use for this example. But you can use anything you want. You could even use the name of your dog, perhaps, or your best friend, or it could be any word whatsoever. Oops. So I am using the word brave. Okay, so you're going to do this first and you're going to put it aside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that aside. All right, so here's when we get into the fun of being in the kitchen and making something. So I'm going to go ahead, all the ingredients are in the description, but I'm going to just throw these things in here: flour, baking soda, and salt. And you mix that all up, and then you gradually put in the water, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So like I said, the shaving cream is probably the easiest way to do it, but I wanted to show a different option just in case you don't have shaving cream and you want to do this. Okay, so it's almost like the consistency of pancake batter. Okay, and then this is where we get messy. All right, so you want to make sure you're in a good spot to get messy. And I'm going to go ahead and use a tray that I have. Make sure that if you're going to use the puffy paint one, you want to use one with the size, okay? But with the shaving cream, you really could just use anything. You could even use like a plastic placemat. That would be fine too, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pour this mess right in here, okay? Little hands love this sort of thing. All right, so there we are. Now, what you want to do too is you want to make sure that you have everything you need handy. So you want to make sure you have some paper towels or a dish towel ready to wipe your hands, okay? So now I have this all on here, okay? And you're going to just push up your sleeves and you're going to get in there. So here we go. So you're just gonna feel what this feels like. It feels kind of cool. So this is really an important thing when you're talking about something that is difficult, because you're focusing on this tactile material here, and it really helps to calm you. So it's the same idea as like putty or fidget spinners or things like that. So you can draw pictures in it. So a lot of times we do this at Safe Harbor when we tell our stories. So what is telling your story? So at Safe Harbor, for individuals grieving, it's such an important piece of the healing and the moving forward is having that opportunity to tell your story. Every story is individual, and you know, we have supportive and caring people who listen. It's, you know, peer support. So there's always that sort of feeling that you're safe, and that's always a really a good thing and an important thing when you're talking about something that's really difficult to talk about. So we are encouraging for this particular Safe Harbor at Home activity is to do this, you know, as a family or with a friend. And really the idea is to talk about that person who has died and to talk about, you know, what your life was like before it and during and the after the death. And you're able to kind of get that out and process it in a sort of a different way. So as you can see, here I am yapping away here as my hands are in here. And it feels pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this all off and get to the next part. So get this all off your hands. And usually, so what happens is that during that time is when you're talking about the difficult things that you need to share. And once that's done, it's really important because it can get really heavy, and it's important to kind of end on a sort of a positive note. And that's why we do these power paintings. So now you have your tray and you have your puffy paint in here. And then you're going to use some food coloring. So in this case, for the sake of this example, I'm just going to use every color I have. So I'm going to put just a couple, just like a drop here and there of each color. But you can do any color you want. You can even mix the two colors. You know, usually they're just primary colors. Okay, so there I just have a couple dots on there. And then you take a straw or something, you know, like a stick kind of sort of thing. And then you're just going to move the color around to make a design, as you can see here. It's kind of like that marbling effect. Now you don't want to do it too much because then it'll just be basically brown. All right. So there we are. Okay. So I have my marble effect right there. Okay. Then, here's the cool part. You take your picture, your word, and you want to have it your word side down, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to just move this around just a little bit more. You want to make sure it gets on the whole piece of paper. And I'm going to go ahead and take this paper and just put it down nice and gently. You don't want to push down too hard. Okay, and then you want to have another surface. I have another big tray. This gets a little bit messy, so you just want to make sure that you have a surface that you can do this. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of, so you can see here. And then I'm going to move it onto this other surface. And I happen to have a squeegee here, like sometimes you have these for your shower. You can use these, work great. Otherwise you can just use a spatula. And you're just going to squeegee off all that paint. Okay, all that puffy paint. You just want to make sure you definitely have paper towels. Okay, and here we are. One more squeezy. And ta-da! There is your magic power painting. And then you can take this word, since you're brave and strong for sharing all your words, and you can take this and put it somewhere to remind you of how strong you are and brave you are. Okay, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'd be happy to help. And like I said, you can also just use the shaving cream, and you would just put the shaving cream on and then do the same sort of thing with this. All right, so I hope that you enjoy doing this, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.